A Howling Success by Gary Bishop. In Yellowstone National Park, a gray wolf sends its eerie call into the wild. You might say that it's howling for joy. When you look at this photo and think about wolves, what words come to mind? Wild, scary, awesome? Over time, people have had all kinds of feelings about wolves. Some people have admired and even worshipped them, but far too often, people have feared or really hated them. In fact, many American pioneers disliked wolves. They worried that the predators would attack their cows, sheep, horses, or even children. So they killed every wolf they could. The US government even encouraged this widespread killing. As a result, by the mid 1900s, only about 400 wolves still survived in the lower 48 states. The comeback begins. Then things began to change. In 1973, the Endangered Species Act became a law. It helped protect gray wolves and many other animals and plants that were in danger of becoming extinct. But was it enough just to protect the few remaining wolves? Wouldn't it be better to try to bring wolves back to some of the places they once lived? Many people thought so, and that's where this success story really begins. Catch and release. Yellowstone National Park is one of the wildest places in the United States, but until a few years ago, something very important was missing: wolves. The ones that had lived there had all been wiped out. To set things right again, the US government decided to bring wolves back to Yellowstone. The plan took off in 1995 when scientists captured 14 wolves in Canada. Wolves were still plentiful there. Then they took the captured wolves to Yellowstone and put them into huge outdoor pens. As soon as the wolves got used to their surroundings, the scientists set them free in the wild. Finally, after about 70 years, wolves are roaming Yellowstone once again. Waiting game. As some wolves pace nearby, an elk finds safety in an icy stream. Later, the pack gives up the hunt to bed down, while the elk dashes to safety. Early success. Within a few hours of leaving their pens, the wolves made their first kill. It was an elk, a kind of huge deer that had been their favorite prey in Canada. The wolves, it seems, were quickly making themselves right at home. Elk had been living wolf-free in Yellowstone for many years. Their herds had grown bigger and bigger. More young grew into adults. Even the old and weak herd members managed to survive longer than usual, but from now on, the wolves would help to keep the number of elk under control. With so many meals on hooves running around, life was good for the wolves. Plenty of food meant they could raise plenty of pups during the first year in During their first year in the wilds of Yellowstone, the wolves gave birth to a grand total of 9 little ones. Meanwhile, scientists captured 17 more adult wolves in Canada and released them into the park. In the spring of 1997, 9 different Yellowstone wolf packs had a total of 67 new pups. Scientists were going to capture and bring still more wolves to the park, but with the wolf numbers already growing so quickly, they decided that this was no longer necessary. The plan was working out even better than they hoped. Tracking the packs. Over the past 13 years, wolves have been thriving in Yellowstone National Park. Today, more than 170 of them are scattered among 11 packs there. Elsewhere in the West, wolves have made an amazing comeback too. Number 9. Number 1. What does the introductory section show about how people used to feel about wolves? A. People used to want to eat wolves for food. B. People used to be scared of wolves. C. People used to be interested in learning about wolves. D. People used to believe wolves should be saved. Number 2. What is the main idea of A Howling Success? A. Wolves have been missing from Yellowstone for over 70 years. B. Many people feared wolves and wanted them out of the park. C. Wolves helped control the number of elk living in the park. D. Scientists helped increase the number of wolves in Yellowstone. Number 3. Which detail from the article best supports why people killed wolves in the mid 1900s? A. They worried that the predators would attack their cows, sheep, horses. B. Then things began to change. C. Living wolf free in Yellowstone for many years. D. Captured 17 more adult wolves in Canada and released them into the park. Number 4. How many wolves survived the lower 48 states? A. 40. B. 4. C. 400. D. 4,000. Number 5. What inference can be made about why wolves thrived in Yellowstone? A. There was a large elk population because there had been no predators. B. Wolves felt comfortable in their new surroundings. C. Wolves had several litters of puppies. D. There were no hunters in Yellowstone.